Hello and welcome back. My name is Vanessa from Wild Woman Bushcraft. And today you can accompany me again into the woods, because today I want to show you which places are great for wildlife photography in the forest and for what tracks you should look. So then you can find out which animals there live and how you can find them. So which place is better to start as my forest cabin? Because here I am surrounded from a massive and big forest with a lot of animals inside, and we will find a lot of tracks. So if you want, stay tuned and come with me. Close to the cabin is the first wildlife track. So this here is deer shit. You can see it look like small eggs. This is from a deer. I want to show you now a wildlife path. So this is a path where the wildlife and forest animals often cross. Deers, for example, use very often the same paths to a place where they can drink, a creek or something like that, or a meadow. And when you can sit there at such a path, the chance that you can take a photo is very high. All the animals are very hungry after the winter months. And when you see a green spot in the forest, it is always a good place to sit down and take a photography. For example, here's a small meadow. And when you can sit invisible here around and there is a wild path here to this point, it is always a good choice to sit there. Maybe you can photography them when they are eating. When you do this for a longer time, your eye will know which tracks they should find. So this here is some grass, and you can see here the brown ends. There is a part where the animals often came to eat there. Every animal needs to drink. They get a lot of water while they during eating. So when they eat grass, they have a lot of water inside. But from time to time they had also to drink, and this here is a track from a forest machine, from a car. So there is water inside and the animals will come to such points to drink. There is a small hole in the ground. It happens often when a tree falls down during a storm. Such places like here will be there. And when I sit down there with my camouflage clothes, I'm at one eye point with the animals, which make a great photo perspective. And of course I'm a little bit covered here around, and I just have to wear my camouflage clothes. I don't need a photography tent or something else, and that's enough. So if I find spots like this, I would use it. When I lay down there with my forest colored clothes, the animal had to come very close till they notice me. And then I have a really good perspective, because when they came across there and I take a photo, they are in the same eye high with me, so it is eye to eye. And I think that a photo is always better if you can see that the animal had eye contact with the photographer. So that means that you are very close to the animal. This is more natural and I prefer such photos. Deers, for example, or animals, they run so fast away when they notice you. So one deer see that you are there, and all the others will know that you will there too, and they run away. So I would love to take once a photo while deers are just relaxing, maybe sleeping. And so for this photo I look for sleep places of the deers. When they go to sleep, they scratch away branches or needles and moss. So in this place are nearly clean then. So you can see here that there was 1, 2, 3, 4 deer sleeping. And these are places like this. And they don't use it several times. They make one fresh for every night. But these are always good tracks. Then you can see how many deers are here in this forest. 1 deer, 1 sleeping place. In a few weeks are the fresh parts of the needle tree there. They are in a bright green, and the animals love them because they are very soft. And they eat them away, and when you have too much deers or other animals in your forest, this could be very bad because the trees doesn't grow so good after the eating process. So here in Germany, the deer population is exactly planned how much deers are good for the forest and how much deers you have to shoot. This is how a fresh night place from a deer look. And here is a dead tree. Oh, okay. And here you can see a track from a woodpecker. So they come often to the same trees and look for food. But of course, if you sit there and wait for the woodpecker, there is no guarantee that they will come to this time. So if you go into the forest and want to make photos, it could be that you see the whole day nothing. That you sit down for the whole day or walk for the whole day and you see no animal. So this could happen. Wildlife photography is at first a lot of time. Not wasted time, but you have to be happy when you find a small thing, for example, a butterfly or something else. You cannot go in the wood and have the idea that you will take a lot of photos of this day. So it could happen, but it could also nothing happen. Here they cut away trees for not such a long time ago, and animals remember this. They know that there was people, and they won't go to this place for a long time. So I would not sit down there and wait if an animal is coming. A perfect spot for wildlife photography is a small meadow into the woods. So here down you can see those brown parts. This is dead grass from the last year. The fresh one will grow in the next weeks, and this is a perfect spot to sit there between the young trees and make a photo while the animals are eating here. Here can you see a wildlife path. Maybe you doesn't see it so good, but here's the path that goes down there to this small meadow. Here behind me is the forest growing very close together. These are all young trees, and these are spots where the wildlife animals are during the day. So when the humans are in the forest, they will protect themselves here in this dark and close growing tree part. So that means that I have nothing to do into this part because I don't want that the animals have to run away because of me. But I can sit there where the young trees are and just look down there. When they came out of this part, they will walk here through the meadow, and this will be a chance for a good photo for me. Here you can see very good that the animals love this place because these spruce trees are so, they are growing so bad. You can see here down that the branches are very close together and there are a lot of branches on one branch. That means that the animals bite there very often, and here in this part grows nothing, and only here it grows normal. So a spruce tree should not look like that. This means that there are too many wildlife animals, and normally this would be a spot for the hunter because the owners want that their trees grow good, not like this here around, and maybe there are too much animals at this spot. This tree here doesn't grow so good because you can see that there are several tops. Normally the spruce tree has just one top. That means that the animals bite away the top, and I know a lot of forest owners which would see pictures like that, which would hate to see pictures like that because they think the hunter had to do more his work that the trees can grow healthy. This part here is complete dead. Here is the bark away because the male deer rub his horns there to show the other deers his area. Muddy parts in the ground are always good to read tracks. So this here is from a deer. Such a tree stump from a fallen tree would be also a perfect sea protection for me and the animals. This is a track from a badass human. Sadly, the track that I found the most in the forests. Here are several entrances of Mr. or Mrs. Fox. I don't know if it is a male or a female, but I will find it out. So I found 3 entrances, but they are all at a very close point together. So normally there would be another entrance a little bit away. If, for example, a dog sits here, the fox can run out at the entrance there. Maybe I doesn't find all of them, but when I sit there between the young spruce trees, I will have a good view here to the entrances, and maybe I can shoot a great photo. Over the day it is always a little bit luck if you can see the fox or not. They love to lay in the sun and are mostly active in the night, so I can spend there days and hours without nothing, but when I can take then a photo, I would be happy. This here is another sign that there is a fox or a dachs on the way, because here's this hole in the earth, and fox is always digging for mouses here at the meadow, and on ducks often shit into such holes because dachs is a very clean animal, and he has his area where he always make his shit. And it is always in such holes. Another sign for the decks, this here is deck's hair. It is not so soft, it is more scratchy. And that could mean that the deck is dead and lay here somewhere around. Or it is just on part with dirt in the skin, which is falling down. So it could be everything or nothing. This here is unsold stone from the hunter, so I had to go away from this part of the forest. Deck's hair again. This is a wild onion. It is edible and very tasty and healthy. It grows often in leaf tree forests. Here is a nest. It is a massive and big nest, so that means it is from a hunting bird. And they use this nest often for several years, so maybe I can come back and check out this place if there live a bird or not. So this is always good over the winter months when the leaves are on the ground. You can see all the nests. Of course, the singing birds use their nests most time only once and make another new one in the next year, but the hunting birds use their nests sometimes several years. There is a little bit water, not enough for a creek, but a little bit water is also water, and the animals would come there to drink. And then you have to look at the sides if there are some tracks, if there is a wild path or something else. And then you can find a good spot. Deer tracks here and here. Good shoes are important, of course. Something digged in the ground there. I think it is wild boar. There is a wild path here, can you see it? And this is a good spot to sit down here close to this path, because the forest animals will go there to drink something. This here are thrush eggs. Normally they should be in the water. I don't know what happened here. So I returned them to the water. Maybe they are still alive. So they are in this egg cover. The frogs embryos are those black small dots. And they will came out into the water out of the egg. And then the feet and the arms are growing. And then they slowly came to the land and are small, ready baby thrushes. Not thrushes, frogs. Frosch is the German name for frog. Here are again wild boar tracks. The wild boars are digging here in the ground for some kind of nuts and worms. They eat them, and then the moss here is pretty removed, so this here is wild boar. This has nothing to do with wildlife photography, but it looks so good that I had to show you. The tree has a big wound, and now you can see how strong the tree removed the bark. This here are hazelnut leaves, young leaves. So when a lot of hazelnuts are at one point, maybe there are some squirrel too, because they love to eat them, or they also love to eat the seeds of the spruce tree or pine tree, what grows in your area. So if you find some broken nuts, maybe a squirrel is there. It is so good to see green leaves again after the winter months. Haselnüsse wachsen immer strauchartig, so wie hier, mal dünner, mal dicker. Am besten erkennt man es an der Wuchsform und an den Blättern. Da draußen ist ein Reh. There is a deer. I hate such planes, but in this choice they are good because the deers would not hear me. Steht direkt da vorne am Waldrand. I really hate such private planes, but at this part the sound was good because the deer hear nothing from me because the sound of the plane is so loud. But the plane flies around the wood every time and again, and I came really close to the deers, but now when I sit there it flies direct here over me and the deers are away. But if I would sit there for a longer time, they came maybe back. While I was sitting there and waiting for the deers, I found something interesting. This here looks like shit, but it isn't shit. In German we call it Gewölle. This is everything what is not edible from the mouse. An owl eats the mouse, and the hairs and the bones aren't edible, so they bring it out of the mouth again, and only the good parts will come to the stomach. I just walked through the forest to have a better view at the deers, and then I found upstairs there are a lot of laying places, and this here is a path which is often used down to the meadow, and if I will sit there with green and brown clothes, I don't need camouflage clothes, so I have a great view here to the end of the forest and the meadow, and this here is perfect because there would be always animals to eat there, and I'm perfect covered here into the forest with this great place. It was not planned for today that I sit now there and take photos, but if you got a chance, you have to use it. So maybe the deers come back to the meadow and I can shoot some great photos of them. So that was it for today. Next video I want to show you again some tips and tricks for wildlife photography. So if you want, stay tuned and we see us in the next video. Have a great time. Bye bye.